Wow, that was something. That was actually really sad, I have to admit. So I'm really curious to see what happens, but I really hope that Hanako is doing all right. But yeah, we'll see. Hanako is more noticeable in her absence than when she is in the room. I feel her empty desk calling out for me. I find myself peering over my shoulder endlessly, hoping that I'm hallucinating and that Hanako will magically appear. She makes sure she's as small as a presence as possible when she attends class, and although she had been getting better recently, that fact never changed. Nobody ever pays her any heed in class, and now that she's not here, they don't notice her absence. It's as if she just never existed. Lily did say that her skipping class wasn't an unusual thing before I met her, but it's still very off putting. The bells heralding the end of school make me jump in my seat. It's only now that I notice Misha is prodding me in the side with her mechanical pencil to get my attention. Hello, is anybody in there? Hey, stop that. Ah, there we are. Welcome back to Earth, Hichan. What are you talking about? You keep on dazing off into space. I was beginning to think that you might be trying to contact alien life. I really didn't get much sleep last night, so I don't doubt Misha's words. I'm not sure whether it was due to my medicine side effects, Hanako's panic attack yesterday, my worrying about her in general. Oh, excuse me. About her in general, or all three. I yawned tiredly before resting my chin in my palm, having been reminded of how badly I slept. I don't know why that made me laugh. The fact that I know it's going to be recorded, I just find it pretty funny, Stuff like this that just happens out of nowhere, or of how badly I slept. Hey, are you really alright? Yesterday kind of rattled me as well. Yeah, I guess I wanted to speak to Hanako again, though. Did you see her last night? Yeah, Lily and I talked to her. This may sound a bit weird, but can you tell Shizune thank you from both me and Lily? I know Lily technically didn't thank Shizune, but I could tell by her reaction last night that she wanted to. At least that's how it works out in my head. Or I think what Shi-chan is trying to say is, you're welcome. The furious signing and Shizune's reddened cheeks tell me that what she said was entirely different. Her blatantly flustered expression is amusing enough to make me chuckle. What's so funny, Hichan? Was it something we said? No, that's not it. I was simply thinking about how cute Shizune can be at times. Wahahaha, you're right. Shi-chan is really cute when she tries not to be. I noticed that Misha decides not to sign her response to Shizune. Maybe Shizune's rage is enough of a counter to any quantity of cute. Nevertheless, Shizune quickly calms down and signs something else to Misha. Oh, okay. Shi-chan wants you to come and have dinner with us. Dinner, eh? Turning away from them a bit, lest I'd be swayed by their pleading smiles, I begin to mull it over. The invitation certainly is tempting. A takeaway dinner with two cute girls is not a bad thing after all. The thought of Hanako locked up in her room, though, keeps dancing on the edge of my mind. Sorry, I'll have to pass. Aww. Misha doesn't sign my response, but Shizune picks up on it easily enough and grimaces in disappointment. Yeah, honestly, I would refuse to have dinner with the two of them, because, we already have to take care of Hanako and stuff. And plus, if I really wanted to have dinner with them, I would have, done the Shizune arc, and, then would do something like this, but that's not how it's going to be in this game, so... Also, plus, it would mainly be just her and... not her. I'm really curious on how the Shizune arc would be. I'm pretty sure he'd learn sign language and you could communicate with Shizune one-on-one, That'd be kind of interesting. But that's only for after I complete this arc, so yeah. She moves her arms, assumedly beginning some form of either protest or coercion, but stops herself and taps Misha's shoulder twice. Once Misha gives Shizune her attention, the only statement Shizune has on the matter is a shrug. Oh well, it's your choice, Hee-chan. I promise, I'll join you two another time if that helps. Misha perks up at this, but Shizune doesn't share her reaction. With a flick of the head to signal for Misha to follow her away, Shizune simply raises her hand to silently wave me goodbye. As the two make their way out the door, I return the gesture until they're out of sight. I didn't think they would be so disappointed, and it makes me feel a little bad for ditching them. Still, I have things to do. The girls' dormitory is especially rowdy today, with a number of girls loudly playing games and watching the television in the common room on the first floor. I can hear their voices even now, standing in front of Hanako's door. It's an odd contrast to the emptiness of the floor she's on. The voices from below make the emptiness feel all the more lonely. I had hoped Hanako would be in class today, especially after the talk Lily and I had with her last night, but I feel like I shouldn't hold it against her. It was a pretty awful episode, and to have experienced it firsthand must be all the worse. Not knowing what state she's in, I take a small breath before giving a few sharp knocks on her brown door. All I can do is stand and wait, doing my best not to feel anxious. As the seconds wear on, I begin to think she might be asleep and didn't hear me knocking. The door handle rattles a little before I can raise my hand to knock again, though. I just love how it just opens and you can see her like this. I don't know. I thought you just enter and, you know what I'm saying. The door opens a sliver, and I appearing in the gap, only just large enough for it to peer through. I'm sure this girl would install a peephole in her dormitory door if only such a thing was allowed. I just stand and smile at her. I don't think words would really help her after all. The act is returned in kind, with Hanako wordlessly looking at me. The gap's not wide enough to see her expression, and I can only guess what she's thinking. Apologies for the background noise outside. It's not that loud for me to stop, so I guess I'll just keep on going. Time passes as we look at each other, the only sound being the disembodied gaiety from the ground floor. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. I'm not sure how long it takes, but eventually the eye moves away. I keep wondering whether she'll let me in or shut me out until the door slowly begins to creak open. Now that I have a full view of her and her bedroom behind, the first thing I notice is that Hanako's hair is quite damp. She's recently showered, which is made even more obvious by the scent of shampoo wafting towards me. The look on her face seems one of curiosity, as if she's not really sure what to make of me. Even so, I'm not really all that sure of what she's thinking. It feels as if she's gone away for a long time, and having now returned, neither of us knows what to say to the other. Hanako realizes she's staring, looking away awkwardly before turning to the side and gazing at her feet. I decide to take it as an invitation and step past her into the room, closing the door behind me as I do so. I can see her hands fiddling in the folds of the oversized gown that hangs from her shoulders. I tried to concentrate on what I want to say, but the scent from her aidles my senses. To my surprise, it's not me but Hanako that breaks the silence. Why? Because, why did I come here? I was worried about Hanako, so I came to her room. She let me in, and as I had hoped, and then what? What did I mean to do? What did I mean to say? Why didn't I think this through before coming here? I want to make up for what I feel like caused, at least partly. I want to try and remove the distance I feel between us since then, and to see her happy. How can I do that when I don't know the first thing about her? I wonder if this is how Iwanako felt when she saw me lying in that sterile pastel blue hospital bed. A deep sigh steadies my nerves a little and ends my stammering. I don't think I've ever felt this nervous around someone before. When I'm like this, I don't think I can lie. Even if I could bring myself to, Hanako would see through it right away. I don't know, I just wanted to see you, I guess. Her fingers stop moving, giving me a little surprise. Looking up to her face, she gives a sweet smile and a nod. That was a satisfactory answer for her. Since you're here, I'd like to play a game of chess with you. I almost hang my head in disbelief that all she wants to do after I've been winding myself up so much is play a game. Excuse me. Looking at her face, though, a tentative smile perched upon it, I realize that this is more than that. Honestly, I would go for it. I mean, not only is it like a fun game to play, but it's actually really relaxing. You know, it calms the nerve and stuff. So, honestly, you know, I can understand her wanting something like that. As I realize that this is more than that. She could have not bothered answering the door. She could have shut it as soon as she saw my face. She could have asked me to leave. She could have rejected me at many points, but she didn't. Now with this calm face, she wants me to play the same game that we played when we first really spent time alone together. A feeling of relief washes over me. Everything will be alright. Hanako has let me into her world. As long as we can be together like this, I think everything will be alright. It would be my pleasure. Wait, did we spend the entire day with her or something? Or the entire night? Or maybe, I guess, a few hours. I don't know. We'll see. The day of Hanako's birthday party is finally here. Oh, I'm assuming we probably just played chess and then just took my leave and went back to my room. I think that's what happened, yeah. The day of Hanako's birthday party is finally here. To be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing Hanako and Lily in their pajamas. Okay, so this is going to happen again, apparently. I'm looking forward to seeing Hanako and Lily in their pajamas again. Hanako's gown has grown on me as looking rather cute, though a bit conservative, and Lily's shorts and thin silken top are a lovely combination. But in all honesty, Lily's pajamas are better. You could see her legs and stuff, and you know, I do love a girl's legs, especially if they're really white and pale. So, yeah. Anyway, but the event is stained a little with the memory of Hanako's reaction to it. I still don't really understand what happened, only being able to vaguely guess at the possible reasons for it, but I don't think finding the answer will be as straightforward as asking her. With that in mind, I knock on the door next to Hanako's. Is that you, Hisayo? Yeah, it's me. I can hear the pitter-patter of footsteps coming to the door, followed by the sound of the lock snapping open. I don't think I've ever seen Lily's door locked before, and it makes me a little suspicious. Once the door opens, the sight is a little underwhelming for a birthday party. Yeah, it's just them pajamas and stuff, the same exact thing, you know? It just happens twice. Unlike in the before, it just happened just one time, but, you know, that one time was awesome, though. Hanako returns to her seat at the table with a quick smile and a nod, leaving me to close and assuming they wanted it to be kept that way lock the door. Sorry if I had issues with reading it, but you know. As I do so, I realize that the scene before me is that of an evening tea party, just like any other between the two. Somehow I don't think I should be surprised. Surprised, I mean. To my relief, Hanako looks relatively calm. The break from class has probably done her good and given her time to wind down a bit. I take a seat between the two at the low table in the center of Lily's room, the brightly colored teapot steaming away between us. A tall brown bag close by Lily's side catches my attention. I covertly try to glance inside it a couple of times, but can't get a good look from here. Either that brown bag is the wine, or maybe just a birthday present. I don't know. I don't think there's gonna be wine drinking in this game. I mean, it might. Who knows? Looking to Hanako, it seems like she's as curious about it as I am. Hey, Lily. Lily finishes off the teacup raised to her lips before setting it down and giving me her attention. Yes? I was just wondering about that brown bag. It's the wine. She pauses for a moment then gives a slightly cheeky smile. Yeah, it's the wine. That would be Akira's yeah, it is. Akira's present. Unfortunately, she said that she was working and can't join us. Oh! So this is how it works in these arcs, huh? So this is basically like kind of the same thing, but if you do the Hanako arc, you don't see Akira. But if you do the Lily arc, then you see Akira. And because it makes sense though, because obviously each arc, you see a different character. Like when you do the Lily arc, you see Akira. You see Akira and that short trap that I forgot his name. And in the Emmy arc, you see Emmy's mom. And then, of course, in the Hanako arc, I don't know who will see. I mean, we saw the classmate, but that one-handed classmate, but that was about it, you know. I don't know if we're gonna see someone else. I think we might, but I don't know. Yeah, unfortunately, she said she's working and can't join us. Lily leans over and feels out the item inside before raising her arm. I raise an eyebrow as two items, not one, rise from the bag. The glass necks are grasped by Lily on either side of her middle finger, so this is why she had her door locked. Wine. There are two small thuds as the bottles are brought to rest on the table. One red, one white. I want to believe that it's fake, non-alcoholic wine, but if it was, there wouldn't be any need to be this circumspect. Alcohol? Seriously? Are you sure this is a good idea? Lily smiles politely and giggles. I'm not really convinced that she is. These would be the presents from my sister. I know it's a bit questionable, but a little shouldn't hurt. If Lily took serious issue with it, I don't think she'd have agreed quite so easily. That aside, I had Akira squared as a serious and responsible type, maybe like an older Lily, but it looks like I was wrong. We aren't even legally able to drink yet. Well, in that case, I won't complain. They don't look bad either. I'm no connoisseur, but at least the bottles look nice. Apart from a syrup... excuse me. Surreptitious glass of wine or two given from my father at family dinners, I haven't really had enough to know what's what. Excuse me. That, and I can't really say that I'm a total straight edge. Going by Hanako's expression, she's thinking the same, and it's her birthday anyway. I'm sorry. Shall I open one? Sure, I'll get... my heart skips as I hear three sharp bangs coming from Lily's door. Hanako's head flicks around and Lily's eyes close as she listens intently. None of us want to be busted for this. Who is it? Let me in, I'm cold. Who is it? Is it Akira? I don't think so. Lily lets out a resigned sigh before motioning for Hanako to open the door. She obediently gets up and fusses with her gown before moving, apparently still not quite sure of who it is, but trusting enough in Lily to do as she requests. Oh, okay. Maybe it's not Akira. If it was, she would know, but I'm pretty sure that it's maybe a new character for the Hanako arc. I don't know if maybe it's that one-handed classmate, but I don't think it might be, but maybe, who knows, we'll see. Enough in Lily to do as she requests. I can just see a blonde, dark-suited figure become visible over Hanako's shoulder as she opens the door. Oh wait, it is Akira. Happy birthday, Hanako. Thank you, Akira. Oh, it is. Thank you, Akira. Hanako gives a small bow while twiddling her fingers in front of her. So this is Lily's elusive sister. Oh, okay, so you do meet her for the first time. I thought you only get to see her in the Lily arc and that's it, but alrighty, yeah, so in the Hanako arc you also get to see her. I mean, you know, it makes sense, but I was just like, because they haven't shown her like for a while, so I thought, oh, maybe we're not going to see her at all, but no, you do see her. Akira follows Hanako to the table after shutting the door behind her, giving me plenty of time to have a good look at her. I mean, I was just like, oh, but Lily hasn't said, oh, it's Akira, like, let her in. But I guess maybe, you know, she's like, oh, you know, it's like it was like an obvious thing that she didn't need to mention it. I don't know. And that's what I was guessing, but it wasn't the case. We have time to have a good look at her. She looks to be about the same height as Hanako and has short blonde hair that's quite roughly cut. That, in addition to her rather modest breasts, masculine suit, and deep voice, gives her quite an androgynous effect. Without further ado, she plops herself down on the side of the table across from me. It's nice to have your company after all, Akira. Did your work let you off? Yep, I have to go back there in a bit, but I managed to get enough of a break to drive down. So, this would be Hisayo then. A confident smile gets thrown in my direction, so I nod politely in return. Considering she just jumped straight to using my first name, she's much more informal than her appearance would suggest. Wait, if she already knows who I am, that must mean that Lily's talked about me with her. I wonder if what she said... Sorry for not introducing you, Hisayo. This is Akira Satao, my elder sister. I see, nice to meet you. The person in question loudly claps her hands together, making Hanako jump a little bit. I actually noticed it, but you know, I just didn't want to mention, but I saw it, so. Akira notices this and looks uneasy for a fraction of a second before getting back into her stride. Only now do I realize that Akira hasn't paid Hanako's scars any undue attention. Hanako also seems to be comfortable, if not exactly relaxed around Akira. Well then, I assume the presents got through, no point in waiting, considering Hisayo and the birthday girl look like they're pretty eager. Lily giggles as I awkwardly turn away, a little embarrassed by the fact that I couldn't hide my interest. Hanako's eyes are telling me that she wants to try the wine together with me, so I settle for a look of badly feigned indifference. Akira manages to uncork the first bottle with small effort, and Hanako goes to get some glasses before I get to pour the 4 of them full of white wine. I heard somewhere that white wine has less alcohol than red wine, so I think it would be the best to start with. Here's to Hanako and to Lily's trip. Cheers! Cheers! After the traditional raising of the glasses, we all take sips of the pale yellow liquid. It's nothing like the stuff I've had with my parents, with the fruitiness of the flavor almost entirely hiding the taste of alcohol. Maybe this is what proper wine is supposed to taste like. Then again, it's possible that Akira just chose a wine which would be suited to our taste, since none of us are used to alcohol yet. Or at least I hope none of us are. This isn't too bad. I was expecting something harsher. If you hadn't liked it, I have a few other varieties you could have chosen from. You sound like you know your stuff when it comes to wines. Only a bit. I'm more of a bear kind of person. I mean, a beer kind of person. Why the fuck did I pronounce it as bear? Fuck. Maybe because she's looks like the aggressive type, I guess. Because, you know, she is tomboyish, so that's kind of why. I have the drinking side down pat, though. As if to prove her point, she refills her glass before bringing it to her lips and flicking her head back. Hanako and I silently watch as the whole glass full disappears down Akira's throat. I can't decide whether to be impressed or put off, but I certainly don't have any urge to imitate the act. I mean, I guess it kind of runs in the family, considering that she just downs one glass of wine, and she herself is also kind of a drinker in a way, considering she drank so much she got drunk. So yeah, I guess it runs in the family. Lily grimaces slightly at her sister's boast. I note that she is sipping from her glass as she does so, though. Anyway, now that Akira's gift has been opened and sampled, shall we move onto ours? Gifts? Oh, sorry. Didn't press it right. That's right, we got you presents. It's your birthday after all. This is from me. Lily pulls out the carefully wrapped doll from under the table and passes it to Hanako. Hanako handles the present as if it was glassware, carefully turning it over to remove the tape that binds the wrapping. Eventually, the paper falls from the doll, revealing the emerald green of the doll's dress. It's beautiful. I'm not sure what reaction I was expecting from Hanako. The near total lack of dolls in her room made me think that she didn't care about them, but the look in her eyes now is something different. She turns the doll around with the same delicacy she afforded the wrapping, as if she was expecting it to fall apart in her hands. I'm glad that you like it, Hisayo. Hisayo picked it out, to be honest. Hanako suddenly remembers that she is not alone in the room and shifts her focus from the doll. Yes, I like it. Thank you, Lily and Hisayo. Actually, I got you something else. I reach into my bag and remove the wrapped chess set. Here, happy birthday. Hanako carefully sits Lily's doll next to her and opens my present with the same care that she showed Lily's. Before launch, the checkered squares of the chessboard are visible, and Hanako gently runs her fingers across the carved surfaces. Oh! Almost by accident, she triggers the catch to the lid, startling herself in the process. She opens it and retrieves one of the gray pieces. She seems as absorbed in the chess pieces as she was in the doll before. They're coral, natural coral undyed, or so I'm told. Thank you, Hisayo. No problem, it's your birthday after all. That's right, my birthday. Once again, Hanako's reaction seems a little off, but she carefully closes the board's lid. I notice Akira's smile beginning to look very strained. I wonder if she knows something about what happened in class, given that she seems to be treating on eggshells around Hanako. I'll have to play you again sometime. I'll make sure I'll play you first. Huh. It's the same exact cutscene as in the Lily arc. Oh, but this time there's a chessboard on her lap. That's nice. Oh my god, look at the doll! It really looks like Lily a bit. I mean, I don't know if it looked kind of like that in the Lily arc. I mean, probably I didn't pay attention that much. But oh my god, it looks so nice. Wow. She takes the doll she received from Lily and holds it to her chest, together with the small chessboard putting the piece on top. The piece or the pieces? I don't know. The act seems to settle her down somewhat, and we just sit in silence for a while. I think it's one of the few times I've seen her genuinely happy, cradling the friendship of two people to her chest as tightly as she can. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Hisayo. In the process of thanking us, Hanako drops the chess piece and fumbles a bit in her rush to retrieve it. Once she finds it, Hanako puts the chess set down and nervously gulps at her wine. It's as if the real world suddenly rushed back into her consciousness and her fastest escape from it was in a glass. Hey, easy there, you shouldn't drink it that fast. It is a party, Hisayo. Despite saying this, there is a slightly concerned edge to her voice. Eventually, acquiescing Lily proceeds to follow Hanako's lead, though not as eagerly. She looks to be taking small sips from her glass and letting the wine settle on her tongue before swallowing. I decide that this is probably the best approach and do the same myself. Since this is kind of a going away party for you as well, I hope you enjoy your trip at least a little, Lily. Hopefully your aunt will be okay. I hope your aunt is okay too, Lily. Lily and I are slightly taken aback by Hanako's fervor to wish Lily well despite her own familial situation. I'm a little impressed. My, thank you both. I'll be sure to convey your thoughts to my family when I meet them. It'll all be fine in the end, Lily. Don't worry about it. Since the room's mood has become noticeably more sullen, I decided to try and move things along. Well then, shall we start on the cake? My tentative suggestion has the intended effect. Everyone lightened up considerably. Yes, please. Cake? I didn't know there was any cake. I picked one up before I came along with some snacks. Well done, Hisaya. At least one of us remembered to bring one. That's nice. Everyone seems to welcome the distraction, so I retrieve the cake from my bag and start cutting it up. Mixing wine and chocolate cake isn't something that I thought would work well, but none of us seem to mind. Conversation is temporarily suspended as we start to eat. I was initially wary of this idea. After Hanako's panic attack, I expected the worst from tonight, but I think Lily's idea of giving her good memories of her birthday is working. That, and also having it shared with her going away party. From Hanako's reaction to her gifts, I can tell she was really appreciative. Hanako tries to pour herself another glass of wine, but ends up spilling some on the table. She had a couple by now, so considering that she's never had alcohol before, it's no wonder if she's feeling a bit lightheaded. Sorry, Lily, I didn't mean to make a mess. Don't worry, I've got it. Haha, another cutscene from the Lily arc. Lily reaches sideways and gently takes the fussing Hanako in her arms, giving me pause. It's okay, Hanako, I'm just happy you're here. Hanako gives only a faint nod in response. It's fitting, I suppose, that Lily would be the one to support her like this. I have no idea what Hanako would be like if she hadn't. Seeing the two like this makes me appreciate the fact I'm privy to such an intimate moment. Even Akira can't help but smile at the sight. I never would have thought I'd manage to find new friends so quickly, and I'm all the more thankful that of all people, these two are the two I befriended. They slowly break off from one another, Hanako regaining herself somewhat while I quickly get myself back on task. I find a towel among Lily's tea set and start mopping up the spillage. By the time I finish, however, Hanako and Lily have managed to uncork the other bottle and have topped off their glasses. Looks like you're enjoying the wine then. Just don't go too crazy with it after this mind. We all dutifully nod and agree, but her reminder feels a bit silly given that she's the one supplying underage people with alcohol.